Welcome everyone to Energy Watch Party, the reboot of our spin-off podcast, but now with Cattail, and he'll be your co-host. I'm Nick. I'll be the host, and this podcast is just talking about like movies and related things. And what else?
Movies, TV shows, basically anything we feel like talking about. And as long as it relates to the overall theme of the podcast, let's say.
Yeah, and that kind of related stuff. Like, for example, our main topic today will be going over the Oscar nominations, kind of making predictions, seeing what's missing, you know, what we think they're going to pick, that kind of stuff. I will say before we start on that, though, this podcast, as of now, will be available on Spotify and YouTube, and both of which offer video formats. And so if you watch the video of this, there will be timestamps to our different topics that we discuss. So that'll make it a little bit easier. And we may be adding another podcast service, like another place this will be available, but we'll let you know when we get there and we know what we're doing. And then this is technically the first episode. So this is, like I said, this is a reboot. So this is going to be the first episode. There is one previous episode with a different cast. That will be made into episode 0. So it'll be like...
It wasn't good because I wasn't there.
You know, no comment. But that actually, out of all the podcast episodes, that one did do fairly well. So, and then by the time you see this, we'll have, you know, artwork up for the podcast, all the stuff. He is making that, so he gets all the credit for that. And
throwing me under the bus there, I see.
Yeah, so if you don't like it, you know who to blame. And then, so just thanks for tuning in, and I guess we can get right into it. So, last week, the Oscar nominations came out, and I don't know what it is for you, but like for me, the Oscars, I don't take them too seriously. Like, I don't give any actual credit, I guess, to them.
I think my biggest problem with the Oscars is that so many people do give them credit that you just have to acknowledge them in some capacity.
Right. That's kind of what they are. But for me, at least, it's like I kind of take it as part recommendations, I guess, because, you know, like they get 10 Best Picture nominations, so I look at that and think, you know, okay, these are probably the 10 films. According to them, they're the 10 best films of the year. So
you can't even trust that, though, because they often forget a bunch of the best films of the year.
No, but I'm saying according to them, and then I'll go through them and watch them. And then that's the other thing for me, is I kind of treat it like a fun game. Is I will watch as many of the films that they recommend, just so I know what I'm talking about and I can disagree with them as much as I want. So
basically, so you can make fun of their opinion.
Yes, which I have the right to do because I watched the movie. That's basically how I see it. And then also, you know, if someone does a good job, it's just another way for them to get recognition for it, you know. Films that, you know, either nobody saw. That's like, it's not as often as the other stuff happens, but it's still nice when it does. So, there's good and bad to it. I think it's just fun for me. So, but yeah, so we're going to go over the categories. And then I don't think we'll have to read every single one. We'll just kind of, I'm not going to read like all the different nominees and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to point out things as we get to them. So, the first one is actor in a leading role. And I think out of those, Cillian Murphy for me is probably the one I pick. Although Paul Giamatti from The Holdovers, we just watched The Holdovers. I wouldn't be mad.
A month ago.
I know. Well, oh yeah, it's been. I guess. Well, anyway, I wouldn't be mad if he won that.
Yeah,
but I think that I don't know.
There's just an obvious answer here,
yeah.
And that it feels like they're not going to pick him because he's the obvious answer, just to some degree.
Cillian Murphy, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like last year with Austin Butler. I wanted him over Brendan Fraser. Not that I didn't like Brendan Fraser, and since then I've seen The Whale. I like it, and I think he definitely earned it. I just like to root for the little guy, you know?
That makes sense, yeah.
Where it's like, Paul Giamatti's been around a while. He's had other nominations, other stuff. This was like Cillian Murphy's first shot at a film, just like it was with Austin Butler, and he like crushed it. So I just think it would be cool if he won for it. Plus, obviously, he earned it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on there. At least you would hope so.
You would hope so.
But there's been instances in the past. Which, by the way, the channel you're watching this on, if you're on YouTube, we're going to be doing other videos where we go through the different years of the Oscars and kind of see what they got right and what they got wrong in the past. So just kind of putting that out there if you're interested in that as well. That's an option.
Half those videos just been plugs.
That's fine. Well, you got to let them know where they can get more because they want more. So
the prime content only found on Energy, everybody.
Yes, that's right. If you know, you know. And then just they got Bradley Cooper on there for Maestro, which I saw Maestro. I didn't like it. That is basically the definition of Oscar bait. You've heard that term thrown around. It's like you can tell because Bradley Cooper directed it and he starred in it. It 100% feels like he made that movie just to get the best shot at getting a best actor nomination because there's nothing else to that movie. It's just the two performances. So just for that, I mean, no, he wasn't bad, but just for that, I don't want him to win. And then I haven't seen American Fiction, but I want to. Jeffrey Wright got nominated for that. I like him. And then actor in a supporting role.
Just completely skip over Rustin.
No, we don't. I haven't seen that. Well, like I said, I'm not going to point out everything. So
yeah.
So actor in a supporting role. I heard Mark Ruffalo was really good in Poor Things, so I'm not going to rule him out. I am going to rule out Robert De Niro because there's no way. Like, yes, he's good, but he's good in everything. It's like, I don't know, we've talked about this before where it's like, there'll have to be probably another discussion. It's like, what exactly are they looking for when they're doing these categories? Like,
yeah.
What are the qualifications? Like, what does best actor in a supporting role mean? How are they determining what the best performance is? Which, not really sure. But basically, this is nothing new for Robert De Niro, is what I'm saying. Therefore, I don't think it's the best performance.
It's the Jonah Hill argument,
yes,
but in reverse.
Which we'll get to before. But I do call it the Jonah Hill argument. Or I guess you call it, whatever. From the sound of it, Robert Downey Jr. is the favorite to win here.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I guess it's just because everyone watched Oppenheimer. Or I think it's also part of the Jonah Hill argument, where he's been doing Marvel for so long, so he does his first role since then, and of course it's good, because nobody saw any movies he was in before Iron Man, so they didn't think he could actually do real acting, or do like a different role, so everyone's shocked that he actually could. Which, I don't know, it's it's kind of the same argument where it's like, if you actually knew what he was capable of, this doesn't surprise you that he was good.
Yeah.
But even still, he didn't have that big of a role in the movie, right?
He was only in like one half of the movie, and even then he wasn't in every scene in that half. Yes, he was the main character of that half, but
he had a role, but like it wasn't, I don't know. It's like he had a role and he did his job. Does that mean best actor? I don't know.
No, supporting actor.
Whatever. I think my favorite to win is Ryan Gosling, because that's what I think acting is all about, is doing something different.
I think it would be really funny and really cool if Ryan Gosling won. I am a Ryan Gosling fan, but I just feel like realistically Mark Ruffalo is probably going to take it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's going to take it.
Interesting.
Also, I think it would be somewhat controversial to a lot of not smart people if Ryan Gosling won for Barbie, just because, the male actor that got nominated for the Barbie movie won. But,
that's an irrelevant point because Margot Robbie didn't even get nominated, so there's just...
Well, that's why I think not smart people would make that argument.
Right. Yeah. I would understand that if they were both nominated, but even then, it's like, I think just getting in the door is the goal at the Oscars, honestly. Just getting the nomination. So at the very least, I'm happy he got nominated for it because I think he deserves it. I think that he's a really good actor, and that is a role that deserves recognition because that's not a role you see in different movies versus Robert De Niro's and Robert Downey Jr.'s. You've seen those roles before. They were just done well by good actors. So I would probably guess Robert Downey Jr. is going to get it. That would be my prediction. But
really,
I hope Ryan Gosling. Well, because unless they're just trying to pull a Ryan Johnson and subvert expectations, I think it's going to be Oppenheimer and Barbie. Well, Oppenheimer's going to get most, and then the rest is going to get picked up by Killers of the Flower Moon and Barbie, and then whatever's left will be scraps for like whoever else. But we'll get to other ones when we get to them, and then we can also discuss things that aren't here. Or, but I should mention, by the way, that we're here. I don't know if, I guess it would be leading role. No DiCaprio nomination.
No DiCaprio,
which is fair because again, he's good. But it wasn't anything we haven't seen him do before. It's like you're gonna get a great performance whatever he's in. But like if you just nominate every movie that he showed up in, it'd get kind of redundant. So I think it's fine that he's not there. But by that same logic, Robert De Niro should not be here because they were both on par. Whatever.
Yeah, you got to make the nominations feel a little bit special. You know,
like. That's like I said before, like that's why the part of the Oscars I do like is recognizing people for good achievements, not just the same people over and over again. Thus, Cillian Murphy and Austin Butler, and even Brendan Fraser for his thing because he doesn't get there often. But so now we have actress in a leading role. I think Lily Gladstone's going to win this, and not that she wasn't good, but I feel like the reason they're going to pick her is just because of the whole Native American recognition thing, which has seemed to be the case.
I'm really sad that I feel the same way because I actually think, it would be... It's supposed to be like an honor to win. It shouldn't feel like a participation award,
And like I said before, it should be enough to just get nominated, right? Like, a bunch of people are going to write articles about the Oscars. It should say, this is great for, Native American tribes or the tribe. This movie about them, which got a lot of recognition already, is now getting a bunch of award nominations.
I am pretty sure there are multiple Native American tribes.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just meant that this movie in particular is about the one. So. But you know the point where it's like they should be celebrating the nominations, not getting upset when they don't win, or only praising them after they win.
Yeah.
That being said, I have not seen Anatomy of a Fall, although I think that's on the Best Picture list, so eventually I'll see it. Haven't seen Poor Things yet. I heard Emma Stone's really good, though. So I would say it's between her and...
But everybody always likes Emma Stone.
I know, yeah. But, I've defended her before. I think she earns it. She puts in the work, you can tell.
I think she's really good, but it's like... It's just... She's just one of those actors where it's just like, yeah, no, it's Emma Stone. You just assume it's going to be good.
I thought, what's her name? Natalie Portman got nominated this year, but I guess not.
What did Natalie Portman even do this year?
I think there was a Netflix film that she was in that was supposedly pretty good, so I'll probably have to check that out. But I thought she was nominated. That must have been the Golden Globes or something. But yeah, so that one. And Carey Mulligan I saw for Maestro again, kind of, she puts on an accent and does dramatic scenes. It's like,
Here's your participation nomination.
I guess it's like, fine, you put in all that work, here you go. But, and then we get to actress in supporting role. I have no idea why America Ferrera was nominated for that Barbie role. I cannot understand.
I think she was decent, but I definitely don't think it was an Oscar role,
She did her job. Now we're handing out, again, back to this conversation, it's like, just because you do what your role is, you get an Oscar, or you're nominated? I don't know. I think these should be reserved for the people who do different things, who go above,
above and beyond.
The normal, which is why my show was kind of annoying, because it was just try hard. And then, what was the other one? Like, Emma Stone, it's not something she's done before. So it was different. It's unique. It was like there's something to it, which Ryan Gosling also in Barbie. There's something extra to that. But she was literally just playing a mother. So I don't know. And it's not like she had a touching scene with her daughter or anything, right?
I mean, kind of, but the one everybody's going to bring up is going to be the speech part.
But anybody could have given that speech. There's nothing in particular that made it unique to her character. I don't know. It's whatever. It's just, And then I see some other recognizable names on here. I don't really have an opinion on this one. I don't know who's going to win this one. I haven't seen Color Purple or Naiad, so
I feel like
for the holdovers, Davine Joy Randolph, was that the cook?
Yes, I honestly think she might win.
Yeah, well, I would say, for me, I'd say her, but
yeah,
I don't know who they're going to pick. I have no idea, but I'll pick her.
I hope she wins. That was a good performance.
See, that was different. But I think that has to do... Obviously, her performance was good, but I think that has a lot to do with the writing for that film, which we'll get to when we get to Scream.
Yeah. Of course, writing is only as good as the actors can portray it, so...
But it's also the other way around, You can
also
only portray however good your character was written. So, if you have nothing to work with, you can't do a lot.
I suppose we shall see.
Yes, but that's a good example right there of both being strong. Here we go. Animated feature film. Why don't you take this one?
All right. So obviously we got Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse, and this is two people, and then everybody else gets a participation award.
Have you even heard of Nimona or Robot?
I have heard that people like them, but I have not heard much about them. I think, honestly, though, my biggest sigh is that this category still exists, but they want to keep putting animation at the kids' table. This is what we're going to get. The biggest upset will come with animation will come later, though. Also, got to point out there is no Mario movie on here, which completely understandable. There's no none of the summer movies really, except Spider-Verse.
What else was there? Well,
there's stuff.
Wasn't good.
Teenage Kraken, Wish isn't really on here. I guess Elemental was a summer release, but
I expected Elemental to be on here. I'm happy Wish isn't. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was, but it certainly didn't deserve to be.
Yeah, this was just a very up and down year for animation, I think.
But I will say, I think, although Across the Spider-Verse is pretty good, I would like The Boy and the Heron to win, just because, honestly, just because it seems like foreign films have been doing it better than American films lately, and I just want them to get the recognition for that.
I agree. I'm still upset about last year's, but
What was last year? Oh,
it was Pinocchio over Last Wish, but I am happy that there consistently seems to be at least 2 contenders for Best Animated Feature, which means that they're getting better.
Yes. But ironically, at the same time, both DreamWorks and Disney Animation didn't show up this year, as you say that. So
yeah. But Disney's been on a downhill, so that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about Disney right now.
I will say, though, Elemental isn't bad. I think it over time it'll be better. It's just Pixar's same kind of problem, and Disney in general, just kind of formulaic, a bit generic. That's saved by great animation, but ever since they've been doing this since I would say probably Inside Out, it's not working as it used to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's starting to hurt their older films. Because, unless you saw Inside Out when it came out, if you were to go watch it now after seeing all the other stuff, I mean, there's some good ideas here, but it's not...
Yeah. I remember when we watched it, you weren't as big of a fan of it.
No, because I think it's because it was, one of the end-half Pixar films I watched. I don't know. That's another discussion. But anyway...
Yeah.
Basically, Spider-Verse versus Boy and the Heron. I hope Boy and the Heron wins, although Spider-Verse is good.
Yep.
But another reason is for the sole fact that Spider-Verse is not a complete film. I think Boy and the Heron should win.
I would disagree, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's a personal thing, I guess. But anyway. Here we go. Some technical ones. Cinematography.
Ew.
Oppenheimer is the obvious choice here.
Yeah.
If Killers of the Flower Moon had better set pieces, I guess, then maybe. I mean, it was just a lot of kind of people in rooms. So
that is interesting, actually, because that's a completely different category. That's set design. But the fact that set design matters so much to cinematography,
that's what
is something to point out.
That's what I was going for. Is
yeah,
it's like you can shoot a room as well as you want, but it's not going to be as cool as a nuclear bomb going off. So Oppenheimer wins. I think that one.
We'll have to talk about that when we get to visual effects.
Yeah, so there's a discussion there too. Costume design, Barbie was solid. There was a lot of thought and effort went into that, but I think it kind of goes with the set design.
I don't think Barbie's going to win for the sole reason that I think most costumes in the movie were probably just based off of the actual Barbie dolls, which is impressive they were able to replicate them.
Yeah, you got to replicate it. So I'd still give them credit for that. I think Barbie.
Yes, I think it deserved the nomination, but yeah.
Don't know why really Oppenheimer's on here. What was so standout about their costume design?
I mean, they did have a lot of costumes, so that is one thing, but it did not, strike you as extremely well designed from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a World War II era film. It's not like it was very difficult to recreate the costumes that they used. There's a bunch of source material for that. Unlike, I would even say Napoleon was probably more impressive.
There's probably just a level of authenticity to it, though, that was appreciated.
Out of the 5 on here, I think Oppenheimer is the least impressive. Although it is accurate, it's kind of like another participation. You know, you did your job.
Yeah.
Poor Things was at least creative. Napoleon, I already said. And then Killers of the Flower Moon was also... That'd probably be my second pick. Just because it's necessary to get the believability. You know?
Yeah.
So, I'd say Barbie first, then maybe Killers as the second biggest shot. Directing. Okay. So, I think I've heard good things about Anatomy of a Fall and Zone of Interest, and obviously Poor Things. From what I've seen, what was it?
This just proves that Scorsese has a lot of friends.
Yeah, well, yeah, anything he touches is going to be on here. Same thing with Spielberg, though. So, but I've heard Poor Things, or not heard, from what I've seen of it, it looks like a Wes Anderson movie. Like, if I just saw the trailer or like saw some clips of it and I didn't know anything about it, I would guess it was Wes Anderson.
Oh, right. Asteroid City came out last year, huh?
Yes. I don't know if that's...
No nominations for that one.
You sure? None?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got nothing, which... Really?
That should probably be a cinematography, honestly.
That could have been cinematography. I could honestly see costume design for that one.
Set design, too. That had good set design.
Yeah, I think that one deserved at least a couple nominations.
It deserves something.
Yeah.
It's solid. I think it's underrated. A lot of people weren't big on it, but I liked it. So for directing, this is just going to be Christopher Nolan versus Scorsese. I think the obvious answer is Christopher Nolan. Not that Scorsese did a bad job, but again, kind of with cinematography, there's not a lot of standout in Killers of the Flower Moon. It's a very down-to-earth, character-driven record of events that happen.
How long is Killers?
Over 2.5 I'm sorry. Over 3.5 hours.
Yeah, no, it should not win under any circumstance.
No. So, to be fair, though, it is not like it's the writing. Directing is a little bit different. Or the editing, I should say. But,
yeah.
But I guess there is some kind of props you can give for being able to direct a 3-hour-long movie.
Yeah, but Oppenheimer's also 3 hours, and it's not 3.5.
That's a good point. Is there, Killers is long, but so is Oppenheimer. Not as long, but I think it just holds your attention for a lot more. I was kind of lost in the first 2 hours of Killers. I wasn't really, I don't want to say I wasn't invested, but it's like,
3.5 hours is just too long for a movie.
Yeah, if anything, it's not because of what they were talking about. It's just because it's like, come on, 3.5 hours, whatever. Christopher Nolan for directing. Documentary feature film. I'll just skip that one.
You can skip the documentary ones because we haven't seen those.
I will say though, these short films are pretty stupid. I think documentary short film, regular short film, I don't even know if they do those anymore. I'm just going to skip ahead.
They have
live action short film and animated short film. Can we just have one category for short films? Just one? Why do we need 3 different for short films?
I don't know.
Like, I understand wanting to recognize people. Just bump it up to 10 and then have one category. And then kind of have like a little celebration of short films. But why does documentary short film need to be a thing? What even is documentary short film? That sounds like a failure of a documentary.
Well, is it they wanted to like keep the short film categories on broadcast, but like cut stuff like makeup and hairstyling and set design?
What does that even mean? Like a documentary under an hour? That's just not interesting enough to be a documentary then. Why did you even make it? Whatever. I don't know.
Well, I can see why, but I also think that it should just not... There should also not be 2 different documentary categories. Why is there a documentary feature film category and a documentary short film category?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, documentary enough. It's like, what are we doing here? But I don't know.
Well, I get it's kind of weird too because it's like a specific genre of film that gets its own thing. It's like animated feature, but
besides, like,
instead of being a medium, it's a genre.
I would classify a documentary short film as closer to being a TV show than a movie. So why is it at
Like
the
a
Oscars?
miniseries?
Yeah, or something like that. Like, that's obviously, you're not going to watch a 40-minute documentary short film at a theater. They're not going to play that. That's going to be on TV somewhere. So why is it at the Oscars at all?
Don't know.
Whatever. Because I didn't realize I had such strong feelings against documentary short film.
Well, what's interesting is that, like, they deserve to be recognized, but this just isn't the place to do it.
Yeah. Or, again, it's like, between the three categories, that probably takes up half an hour at the actual Oscars show.
Yeah, at least 15 minutes.
It's longer already than it needs to be, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, film editing, absolutely not Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know why that's on here. You will never, ever, ever be considered good at editing if your movie is 3.5 hours long. That says the complete opposite. Oppenheimer, good.
Yeah, I like the Holdovers.
Holdovers is good. I will say it's not a standout at editing.
True.
It's just competent. It's well edited, but it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to have standout editing.
Yeah, it's really easy to have bad editing, like
right.
Or is it Quantum of Solace?
Yes, it's one of those things where you if you don't notice it, it's good. If you notice it, you messed up. So I don't know. I guess Oppenheimer and then maybe Holdovers.
Put a James Bond on the list. We're gonna have to do a podcast about that sometime.
Yeah, why they need to pick Henry Cavill.
You're never gonna let that go, are you?
No, they need him. He's just the obvious answer. He's doing a new movie with Guy Ritchie. It's coming out in April, I think. So that's interesting. Someone appreciates his talent. But so now we have international feature film. The only thing I'll say here is that Zone of Interest is on here, and I got nominated for Best Picture. So
I am slightly angry that they only allow one per country because Godzilla -1 should
is that
be
a
on
thing?
here. Yes, if you look underneath each film, it will say what country it's from.
I see that, but does that mean that there can only be one?
I think that is a rule, which is why Godzilla -1 is not on
That
here.
makes absolutely no sense at all.
I think it's really dumb.
So what? So like, by that logic, only
the country had to choose which one.
Only each state can submit one film for the Oscar.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a really stupid rule.
That goes against the entire purpose of the Oscars is recognition. Yep. It's like, oh, this one. What if there was like 2 excellent movies, which apparently there was in Japan?
Actually, they could just increase, if they did that, they should also increase it to 10 nominees for international feature film. Because why are only 5 movies that the rest of the entire planet makes getting recognized at the Oscars?
Well, I think this just shows that this category is only here because it has to be, and they don't actually care.
God, that makes me upset.
They're doing the bare minimum, and that's it. So
yeah, it's another animated feature film thing.
Yeah. Hairstyling. Barbie's not on here, which is interesting. Yeah. Oppenheimer, I think Poor Things is going to get this one. That one's kind of out there from what I've seen. So I think, again, with Oppenheimer, it's like you're time period accurate. So you deserve to win. I don't know. Whatever. Poor Things. Music original score. Ooh.
Okay.
Is there anything that's missing?
Yes. Okay. So this honestly had a kind of a big controversy when it was announced. Mm-hmm. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny over Spider-Verse. This is the one that people were really mad at because Spider-Verse was not nominated while Williams reused like 90% of the score and got a nomination.
Which was the same deal with Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, right.
No, Force Awakens actually had an original.
Oh, no, that's true. That's true.
Rise of
Force Awakens, I'll give credit. Yeah.
Had the most
Rise of Skywalker was funny because it actually got the requirements to be considered an original score changed.
Yeah,
they increased the amount.
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Whatever. I guess
this just proved to a lot of people that they don't care about animation at all.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, it's like you can tell they come after they did the best animated film, they just dropped that whole category. They're like, all right, ignore them all now. Everything else is gonna be.
It's so disrespectful for so many reasons. And Williams did not need another nomination. Okay.
Yeah, like I said before, like once I saw that it was nominated, I tried to think, do I even remember the score for that movie? And I don't. I can't remember a single song or theme or anything from that movie. So it couldn't have been that great. And I remember plenty of John Williams scores.
Yeah.
So
John Williams.
I know, yeah. You don't... Yeah, that says all it is. So I guess, I don't know. I don't know these other ones. Maybe Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer's was decent. Nothing really stands out here.
No, nothing's like, oh, that's the obvious.
Which just makes Spider-Verse's lack of an inclusion all the more glaring.
Versus last year, remember, the obvious answer was the Batman, and it wasn't even nominated.
Oh my god.
So
last year was a mess.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Original song. For me, the obvious one here is the Ken song. I don't even remember the other one, honestly.
What Was I Made For?
Yeah. I think that one's gonna win, though.
I remember it. It would be interesting if it did win, because it would be the second... I think the second one Billie Eilish would get, because she also did a Bond song that won.
Yeah, the No Competition Bond song, so she just won it by default. Yeah, about that one either.
I mean, true. But, yeah, I think I'm Just Ken should probably win.
See, again, that one's creative. It's challenging someone who's not, like, everyone knows who Billie Eilish is, but now you have Ryan Gosling doing a song.
To be fair, Ryan Gosling did La La Land.
True, but if you really think about it, it's not like he had a huge singing scene in that movie. He had, like, a little song. He had a little scene. He didn't actually...
True.
He did more singing in this movie, I'm pretty sure.
Debatably the most iconic scene in the movie, though.
In La La Land?
Yeah.
True. I still say that's the end. But, yes. But anyway, this one took a lot. It's a good song.
Maybe we should just let Ryan Gosling sing more, because he seems to knock it out of the park every time.
I know. He deserves it. I think he should get it, even though he's not even on here. He didn't write it. But still, it's like, it's a good song, and he made it a good song.
No Disney, by the way.
Good. I don't even know what they would get nominated for.
Well, they had Wish, but that's about
it. Their AI-generated Wish song.
People were not happy with the score of Wish, so no nomination there.
Okay, here we go. The
big one.
Best Picture. This one I will go one by one. American Fiction, haven't seen it, heard it's good. Anatomy of Fall, haven't seen it, heard it's good. Barbie, I don't think this one's going to win. However, if you're looking at under definition of Best Picture, depends on what your definition is and what their definition is. If you look at Best Picture in terms of most impact on the film industry, it's Barbie. And it's not even close.
Yes, but once again, most influential film will not win.
Which is why, like, if it was last year, Top Gun Maverick would have won. Because that was the one. But I don't think that's what they're looking for. I don't know what they're looking for. Is it a combination of all the other categories together?
I mean, I would guess so. I don't think Barbie would win either way, but I do think it is definitely one of the nominations that deserves to be here most.
Yes, I agree, but we'll get to it later. Because it's on Best Picture, it doesn't make sense that it wasn't nominated for something else.
Yeah.
The Holdovers would be my second pick. That'd be my number 2.
Yeah.
It won't win. There's no way. But
yeah, if it did, that would be extremely surprising.
It was really solid in one particular area, which we'll also get to. Killers, no. Maestro, no. Oppenheimer, yes, that's the winner.
This is the obvious answer, I feel.
Yes. If you can make a 3-hour movie, which you're already on my bad side when you say it's a 3-hour movie, but if you make it good, you make it entertaining the entire way through, it just elevates it that much more.
Have there been good 3-hour movies for like the past 3 years?
No.
Because there was Batman last year.
Yeah, that's probably the only one.
Was there one a year before that?
We'd have to go back and look.
Because we're learning that 3-hour movies can be good. You just cannot make them longer than 3 hours by much, and you have to have really good editing.
3 hours is the absolute maximum, and the other problem is more and more movies are thinking it's okay to get closer and closer to that 3 hours. Like, to me, a 2-hour and 20-minute movie has more in common with a 3-hour movie than it does a 2-hour movie. That's just how I see it. Once you go past 2 hours, I start to look at it differently, where it's like...
Yeah.
Because for me, I always see it like, everyone's allotted 2 hours for a movie. If you go over that, it's like you're asking for extra time now. You better make it count. Otherwise, I'm not going to be happy because you're wasting my time now. It's your time up to 2 hours, and then it's my time.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I know a lot of people defend, Avatar. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
I don't want to talk about Avatar.
What? That was a waste of time. Past Lives, good. Poor Things, really good. I would actually guess this is the second favorite to win after Oppenheimer.
I can see it.
Just because it seems like that seems to be the one. The rating on Poor Things, I think, is the highest out of any movie on this list. That's at an 8.4 last time I saw.
Wow.
Which would put it in the top 100 of all time, I believe.
I wonder how many people have reviewed it, though.
I can do a quick look. Zone of Interest, was that the foreign film? Well, UK, however foreign the UK is.
Well, I guess we know it's winning foreign film.
Yeah, I think that one's obvious. So yeah, Poor Things to 8.4 after 56,000 reviews. So it's solid.
Okay.
Oppenheimer is at an 8.4 as well, actually. I didn't think it was that high.
Oh.
That one's after 617,000 reviews.
Okay, so Oppenheimer is better on average then, because it's more people in the same.
I'd say. So yeah, but still, I think that says a lot about both, because 8.4 is not a score that just gets thrown out. I believe even Far From Home, which was super inflated after it came out.
Which one?
What? No. No Way Home.
No Way Home?
Spider-Man one from a few years ago. The good one. That one was way up there, but since then it's come down a lot because, it gets put on streaming and people sit on it.
Yeah. Nothing will ever be as inflated as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah. No way. Yeah, see, No Way Home went from like a 9.1. It's at an 8.2 now.
All right.
And that's, 2 years?
Yeah.
Well over 2 years. So, yeah. So Oppenheimer, probably going to take it. And it deserves it. That's what I would pick. Production design, Barbie.
Barbie was very solid.
Is this set design? Is that what this is?
I don't know, actually. I'm going to go look. Yeah, this is set design, which should just be production design now.
Okay, so Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie wins this.
Although, Killers isn't bad.
I think everything here is good and deserves the nomination, but I think Barbie went above and beyond.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Here we go with the animated short film. I don't care. I don't even care.
And live action short film. Okay, there is a Wes Anderson one in the live action short film.
I was going to point out the Wes Anderson short film. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's on Netflix, so I'll probably watch it at some point.
Yeah.
So I'll just say that one wins because
Wes Anderson was busy last year.
Yes. Sound. Here we go. The Creator is on here.
It got a nomination.
Yes, and we'll see in a second for visual effects. But I enjoyed The Creator. It's only because it's like cool sci-fi, Gareth Edwards. It's got a little bit of that Star Wars in there. So I gave it it had got the little bias point for me. But it is what it does do a good job of is immersion. It looks good. It sounds good. So I would be okay with it winning sound. The unfortunate thing is Oppenheimer's in here. And that had the greatest practical effects since 1 year ago.
But the thing is that should be in visual effects and not sound.
Yes. Well, what I mean by that is the combination. Sound and visuals. Which I think it's... Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
I know it's not going to win, but I didn't realize that Mission Impossible got nominated for this. And now that I'm thinking about it, that is actually a well-deserved nomination for sound.
It's good.
I honestly kind of wish that would win, but it's not going to, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Oppenheimer's going to win for sound, but I will just root for the underdog and say The Creator.
We know that Maestro is going to steal one of these, right?
No, it is not going to, because it's stupid.
Well, no, they're because the Oscars are also stupid. They speak the same language, so Maestro's going to steal one of these.
I thought that was funny. I believe for original screenplay, we have Maestro. We'll get to that later. But if we go back to original score, Maestro was not nominated for original score. It is a movie about a composer, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's a little embarrassing.
I do want to mention one thing that we skipped over. Makeup and hairstyling. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 had the most amount of like practical makeup ever seen in a movie. Did not get a nomination.
Okay. So I believe... So between that and Top Gun Maverick from last year, I would say that the Oscars just do not have an appreciation for effort.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. I've seen that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forgot to point that out when we saw it, but I thought that was insane. For visual effects,
so for visual effects, I'm going for The Creator again because it's good. Godzilla Minus One gets its nomination here. I think this is the only one for it.
Yeah, they threw a party when they got this.
Yes, they deserve it. They probably deserve more.
They deserve that.
It's
Best International Feature.
I wouldn't be mad if they won, just for them to get the recognition. But I just really like The Creator. And Guardians 3, I don't want to give...
Dead Reckoning got another nomination?
Yeah, so this one confuses me. I don't... And I had Napoleon down here, so I'm guessing it's for practical.
Yeah, it had to get nominated for practical effects, which just makes it doubly confusing why Oppenheimer... I guess it is strong competition, but...
Yeah, so my big question was why Oppenheimer wasn't on here, because most of it's practical, which made me think visual effects means not practical. But then Mission Impossible and Napoleon are on here.
I guess the visual effects was just the most stacked category this year.
Now, to be fair, like the big stunt in Mission Impossible with the bike off the cliff, was done for real. He did jump the bike. However, it was heavily covered with CG. There was a ramp that got covered into a mountain. You know, they edited it, and then obviously he jumps into a net, which they removed the net. So there was CG there. I just don't like. Is CG getting all the credit for that? Is it they don't even care about practical? I don't
know. Maybe it was the fact that it was a combination of both. Who knows?
We were talking about this before. It's like I don't understand visual effects in those two words. Nowhere does it say computer generated.
Yeah, visual effects has existed as a category before CG was popularized in movies.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. And it's like, visual eyes, I can see things that aren't just computer generated. I don't know. Yeah. Oppenheimer should be on here, is my point. And
I do think it's a very stacked category this year, though.
Yeah.
Now that I see the nominations, I can understand why it's not here. I'm disappointed that it's not here, but I can understand why.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we have writing adapted screenplay. Oppenheimer's obviously good.
Yeah.
And then the other three. And then the weird thing here is Barbie. So
I did not know there was an adapted screenplay.
So here's the deal. I guess you weren't part of this. This is a big problem with the way that they do adapted versus original screenplay. The only reason that Barbie is considered an adapted screenplay is because the characters of Barbie and Ken existed before this movie came out.
What?
Yes.
Wait.
Which was the same problem last year when Top Gun Maverick was nominated for an adapted screenplay, not original, just because the character of Maverick existed in a previous film.
That doesn't exist. That means that all sequels are adapted screenplays. Yes. That's not how that works.
Yes.
That's not how writing works. Well, that's not how the definition of adapted works.
Yeah, so this is why a lot of people were especially complaining this time, because this one's like really stupid, because it wasn't even a character in a previous movie. It was just something that existed before.
The Oscars get more and more stupid every time you think about them.
It's like every time they do one good thing, they do like three bad things. So it's pretty annoying.
I can't wait for Empire Strikes Back to get that adapted screenplay nomination.
Yeah, so that's dumb. But anyway, I think probably Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Oppenheimer will get that one. Although American Fiction could be good. Poor Thing, Son of Interest.
Unfortunately, Barbie is just disqualified for the fact that it isn't even adapted.
Shouldn't even be in there. Yeah. And then lastly, we have original screenplay. Here we go. The Holdovers. That was the biggest strength of this movie. That's why I really appreciate this movie. Going back and thinking about it after we saw it, I only liked it more because it is just a well-written movie. And that is what is seriously lacking in a lot of stuff nowadays. Shows, movies, anything. The writing isn't there. This was a really good screenplay. It was written well. Maybe a little long, but it didn't feel long.
No.
This one is the obvious choice for me. And I don't know. I really liked it. I really appreciate it. We need more movies like that. It's a simple story. It's literally about a teacher and a student, and it works. And it's just good. That's how you can tell someone had a good idea and they just got it made. So, I guess I guess we already passed it. The last thing I was going to say was for director, because Barbie was nominated for Best Picture, but what was her name? Greta Gerwig was not nominated. Yeah, Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director, which I think she should have. I fully expected her to be, and especially after getting the Best Picture nomination, I think she probably should be in there.
Well, you could have like literally anybody there except for Scorsese. But
yeah, I think in this case though, I would imagine in the other five were just better. In this case, it wasn't because they didn't like her or didn't think she deserved it. It was like she was the sixth pick,
I guess.
I'm going to assume that's what's going on here, because if you look at the five movies in here, they're all Best Picture nominees, which I think is usually the case.
It still doesn't feel good that Killers got the nomination over Barbie, though.
No, it's that's how it was last year. I think it was last year with the Fabelmans, and Spielberg was in there. It kind of, whenever you see Spielberg or Scorsese or James Cameron or whoever, it's like you're here because it's you. No matter what you made, you're always going to be here. It's like you have a reserved spot. So that's a little annoying. It would have been nice to see some other recognition.
So I can't believe Asteroid City got nothing.
Yeah, so nothing. Bummer. I will say that was a little bit of a bummer. I like it. I would recommend it. You go see it. Out of the best pictures this year, I've seen half of them before the nominees were even announced. And I can't watch any other ones because they're all still in theaters. Annoying. Hopefully, some will get added before. Yeah, I think the Oscars like beginning of March. I think so. I got like a month.
That seems a little late this year.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought they were usually in February, but
yeah.
But yeah, any final things to say about the 2024 nominations?
I'm disappointed, but I'm not as disappointed as last year, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think there wasn't a huge snub this year for me. There wasn't one that was so obvious and insulting it wasn't there. You know? There was a few kind of like head scratchers, but there wasn't like...
Yeah.
There wasn't like, are you kidding me type of deal.
Well, Are You Kidding Me? Huh? The Are You Kidding Me comes in with Williams getting nominated for Dial of Destiny. But
yeah, but... Which is kind of like... You don't belong there, but at the same time, it's not like something else I preferred was kicked out for it. Oh, well, like you said, Spider-Verse, but I can't remember either score, so whatever. But for last year, for me, it was the Batman got treated harshly at the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying. But overall, I think last year was a good movie, or a good year for films, so...
Yeah, no, I think it was a very solid year for movies. It was a bit more rough for animation, but animation still had some really good wins, so...
Yeah.
I think movies are back on the rise.
I would agree. For the most part, we're still getting a lot of... I think the franchises are the ones suffering now.
Yeah, but
we're starting
I think
to see,
that's fine.
We're starting to see better projects, I'll call them.
Yeah.
We just need to get a couple things down. That being the writing... the runtime, which kind of goes together with the writing, and the budget. The budgets are still getting a little up there.
Well, a lot of budgets were down this year, especially for some like really solid ones.
True. Well, for the most part, I guess the franchises are the ones spending a lot.
Yeah.
Like Mission Impossible spent a lot. All the DC ones spent way too much. Marvel spent a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
so we actually that took longer than I thought. We don't have a lot of time left, so we were going to talk about the Flash TV show, but that'll have to be the next time.
Yeah, but we can just talk about DC in general that time then.
Yeah, we could do a whole DC episode. I don't know if we could fit all that in one, but real quick, I could go over the Sonic movies.
Yeah.
I have a couple minutes. So
Sonic 3 is coming out this year.
Yes, Sonic 3 is coming out this year. This past week, I went back. Well, I watched the first two Sonic movies. I watched the first one. I really liked it. It was a pleasant surprise. And then I watched the second one. I'm kind of leaning the first one is a bit better. But the second one has a lot that I like too. I think they're both really solid. But I will say that I am excited for the third one, which is really cool because it's like, you start like with something that you like don't really know anything about, and like
he knows nothing about Sonic.
No, well,
five characters' names, and that's it. Well, 6, I guess, but that's it.
I know nothing about the lore. But, I think that speaks to the strength of their characters, though. And I think that shows that you have good stuff. If, like, you can kind of ditch the story and you still have something pretty solid, I think that says a lot. I don't know.
It's not that they ditched the story. It's that they were able to adapt the story, like, kind of loosely, but adapt the story in a way that made it more accessible for everybody. So that's just really cool.
So the big thing for me, though, was like I don't know about the lore, obviously, but do the rings, are those portals?
The rings? They can be.
In the movies, they're portals, like teleportation portals. I don't know if
they're
how they are in the games or in the
there are ring portals in the games, yes.
Okay. So then my other thing is, obviously in the games, the big thing is you got to collect the rings. That's like the main gameplay.
Well, they're kind of just like they're the equivalent of like Mario's coins,
right? But it's it's an iconic thing. It's Sonic and the rings thing. So in the movies, there is no collecting the rings. He just has rings.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping in the third one, that'd be like the number one thing I could ask for is maybe he goes back to his homeland, which is like the Mario Games Island thing, and he gets some more rings, because I think that's right now, as a person who's like played like maybe a collective 5 minutes of Sonic games in my life. But to me, that's the iconic thing for Sonic. As a completely casual Sonic fan, it's like he runs fast, he collects the rings, and he does the loops.
I think what's really interesting, though, is that the Mario movie, he did not collect coins.
No. But at the very least, it was kind of forced in, and it's like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but they had the little training course scene where he was hitting the blocks. That is iconic Mario. And they had that. So,
but you also got to keep in mind, Sonic is live action animation and has different priorities, which is story and character.
It's not that I didn't like the Mario movie, because I do like the Mario movie. I prefer Sonic's approach to how they're doing their stuff versus Mario, where in the first movie they kind of tried to insert as many things as possible. You had Luigi's Mansion, you had the Donkey Kong stuff, you had the ice stuff, you had the training course, Mario Kart. You see how like all that they try to fit in one movie?
Yeah. It's a bit much,
Yeah. You only had Sonic in the first movie. You only had rings. And then the second one, you get Tails, and then you get Knuckles. And that's pretty much it. It's like, it's not like by the third one, you're wanting a bit more because it's the third one. But it's not like in the second one, you're like, this is it. Or in the first one, you're disappointed that there's not anything else. It's because
they do a lot of work with what they have, right?
Yeah, it's like you just have Sonic in the first one, and they use him, and it's good, and they focus on his character, which distracts you for the whole runtime. Which that one's pretty short; it's like barely over an hour and a half, and then it just works. So I was impressed. I enjoyed them. I would like to own them. If I can find a good deal on them. They have a 2-pack, actually, which I'm pretty sure I saw last Black Friday, but I didn't get them because I hadn't seen them yet. But I wish I did.
Well, now you can wait for the trilogy to come out.
Yeah, we'll see. The bummer, though, is that it looks like it's going to be the end of the year. It's like it looks like a November release.
I would not be surprised if it was actually a late summer release instead.
Possible. From what I can tell, there's no trailer for it yet, and it's should be at this year though. That's all we know. But I'm excited. That's the one movie I'm excited for this year, I guess.
Which is kind of funny for me because I didn't even know he knew what Sonic really was until like a couple weeks ago.
I knew about the movies, and I knew what Sonic was, and I have a video of Sonic racing on my channel. And
really? Wait, you actually have a video of Team Sonic Racing on your channel?
It's not a full video. It's in one of the like assorted clips videos. But yeah,
hell, be surprised.
We did play Sonic Racing for like a week, and we have a few clips. But that should tell you, like, I don't know anything. It was funny, though, in that game, they like, rip off a lot of Mario stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like,
Sonic Mario Kart clones are like that.
No, but, not even just the items and stuff. It's the worlds. They have a straight-up Luigi's Mansion ripoff. They, like, combined Luigi's Mansion and Bowser's Castle and said, oh, that's an original map. Or like the beach with the crabs, they like fully copied that too. It's like,
okay, that's a Sonic thing. The Sonic had the crabs first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could just tell it's like when it comes to like characters and maybe story, that's where Sonic's strength is. But then when it comes to like trying to expand your world to make a racing game, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's good.
Yeah.
For the first episode.
Hey, we actually did record one of these episodes. Look at that.
Yes. No idea when this will be up, but I also forgot to say that our goal is to have this bi-weekly, meaning every other week.
Yep,
So,
we'll see how that works out.
Yes. And then, like I said, it'll be available on Spotify and YouTube. It'll be on the Bonus Energy channel. And perhaps maybe Apple's podcasts. But I'm going to look into that and I'll let you know by this next episode. So, yeah, that's it for now. You can...
subscribe.
You can subscribe. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment if you have any suggestions for topics to talk about. But just remember, you got to keep it in the related to like either movies or shows or stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, if they actually have anything to say about this in general, I might actually go and read the comments.
Yes. That'd be cool. And then, of course, you know, I don't know.
And we made it this far.
Yeah. I guess that's it. I don't know.
Great ending.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys next time.